G'day, Josh here with another Chess Rush video. In this one, we're going to be looking at a build, a Punisher build, because I have been experimenting with builds that don't use any featured heroes. But we're going to look at a game where I didn't actually pull off the complete build and still got the win. So this is the build. This is what it looks like. The core of it is the 4 Punisher combo, which is very, very strong, especially on the back of Dimension Walker at the moment. I'm also pairing that up with 3 Hunters. 2 of the strongest individual heroes at the moment are Kraken and Shakaraka. Obviously Martial Lord is one of them too, but he's featured, so we're not going to be using him. They are both Hunters, they're both Oceanborn, so 2 of them together give you some magic resistance, and 1 more Hunter, Famine in this case, who is one of the best 1-cost heroes in terms of late game scaling. That gives you the 3 Hunter combo. Famine is also undead, so pairing that with Misfortune gives you the 2 undead combo, and then a couple of goblins thrown in there as well. Voodoo Elder for the warlock combo as well, and then Berserker just because he's probably the next strongest goblin in the meta at the moment. Hog Rider works as a hunter, but it's only a 1-cost, and Berserker the assassin. Sorry, Head Reaper is the assassin. Berserker is the warrior that I've got there. Head Reaper the assassin is pretty much useless against a whole bunch of summons. So if it's not a pet build, not a problem, very, very strong. But if you come up against a whole bunch of summons, then Head Reaper becomes pretty underwhelming. So that's why I'm going with Berserker, the Goblin Warrior. Doesn't match any of the other combos, but does provide Goblin and is very, very strong as an individual hero. So that's the full level 10 build. But as you will see in this game, I don't actually get to level 10, I only get to level 9, and I do end up running Hog Rider over Berserker, and I never ever found Shakaraka, which was a little bit disappointing because he's such a good hero, but we did get the win anyway. If I jump back in there, let's queue up the replay and let's see how this game played out. It was a really interesting lobby because a lot of people, to try and counter Marsh Lord, and to try and counter sorcerers to some extent as well, a lot of people are actually running hunters, goblins, and or punishers. So there were a lot of those in this lobby, and this beat them all. So it's a really good knowing that this variant of the Punisher Goblin Hunter build, so to speak, seems to come out on top against other versions of that build. So that's always nice to know. Now you see, obviously we start off with Punishers and Goblins, which is nice. We're getting things going underway very, very effectively. As you skip through a few, it did take me a while to find another 2-star though, unfortunately. So in the meantime, like any early game, you're just buying the best heroes you can. If you can 2-star stuff, fantastic. So at one point in time, I did end up running that Flamecaller out on the board, I think at level 7, when I had the, then I found Lucifer, that's right. So then I had 2 Punishers, managed to get my first 2-star. Of course, that Nightingale there, very, very strong in a Punisher build. And you'll notice that this is the core. Took me quite a while actually to find Dimension Walker, my 4th Punisher. I think most others sort of had that Punisher build online before I got to it, but at this stage you can kind of see where people are going. So there's 4 Hunter builds in the lobby, there's 4 Punisher builds in the lobby, and many people using Goblins, although even more end up using Goblins as the game continues. So we get to round 9, and I'm down to about 38 health, so things aren't going incredibly well for me, which obviously you can see there. I've still only got the 1 2-star, but it's really good to know that when this build gets to the late game, and as I touched on earlier, I didn't get to the full build, but even as it gets towards completion, it becomes very, very strong. So let's skip through to round 10 here against the Harpies. Have another look to see what people are building, and I'm down to half health at this point, at the very bottom of the lobby, 2nd from the bottom. And yeah, things are not looking too well, but I am level 9, still only the 1 2-star unfortunately, and that does happen a little bit when you do try and force builds, but I was committed to seeing if I could come back with it. And so let's jump into, when do I get my, there's Dimension Walker. So I've got Dimension Walker on the board now, and there's my next 2-star Hog Rider. So I now have 4 Punishers, which increases the strength of this build by quite a bit. Also, you see I've got a couple of Krakens there. Kraken, kind of like Marshlord, is one of those heroes always buy if you see them. Even if you've already got a 2-star and you weren't initially planning on 3-star, just always buy all copies of Kraken. She's so strong at 3-star in the current meta, so I always buy. Even if she's not going to fit into my build, I will use her until I have no room for her or make room for her. She's just so strong. So you can see that I do stabilize a little bit here as we win that result. We get to round 13. Let's skip straight to the battle here. This is up against a mirror match to some extent in that it is also a Punisher Hunter build, but I'm coming out on top here. Let's skip through to round 14, and I did have a Berserker on the board over the Voodoo Elder because I didn't yet have Misfortune to add to the board to give me Undead and Warlocks. I am just using that Stinger there for my Undead instead, and you can see there I'm collecting the extra copies of those Krakens so that I can maybe 3-star that Kraken, and of course that is what ends up happening at the end game. And it's unlikely that you lose if all things are even and you have a 3-star Kraken. She's just so strong. But we do go down to this Sorcerer build, and this is one of the builds that I was worried about in this lobby. And that's why I was hoping that I could get to Shakaraka. But this is the trade-off, right? So I'm level 9, which means I have that 3% chance of finding a legendary. Level 10 increases that to 6, as we all know. But I also didn't really have enough health to play with at this point, and I really needed to max out everything on my board. I've still got a couple of 1-stars on my board. I'm still searching. You can see there that I've now found the Misfortune, but still searching to max her out. So there were still improvements that could be had on the board that I didn't want to waste time possibly trying to get to level 10. And it's hard to know what the right play is. You see now, though, that I do have another 2-star Kraken. I've also got a Guru. So now I'm only 1 Guru away, or 2 more Krakens away from 3-starring that Kraken, who would be huge for my game. Let's jump through to this battle here at round 16. I'm on 23 HP. Not a lot of wiggle room, especially at this stage in a turbo game. Really need to be winning. You can see there that we get stung by that enemy's Kraken. She got a very effective stun off, and we do end up losing that, going down to 15. Lots of people around that mark, and we have another elimination there. Round 17. 15 HP could just be an instant loss. Like, that is low enough in turbo that a bad loss is you are done. You have no more health, but thankfully we get the job done against this build, and you can see there that we now have one of the Punisher builds has been eliminated, but there's still 2 others. 5 currently running Hunters, and almost everyone with at least 2 Goblins. Only the Human Sorcerer build on top that is still in the game that's not currently running 2 Goblins. So yeah, there's a lot in the lobby that I was competing with against directly for key heroes, because of course all the Punisher Goblins are shared heroes, they're not featured heroes. Let's jump through to the round 18 battle. So once again, basically need to just win out from here. 1 bad loss and the game is all over, and this one is very close, but thankfully that Kraken stun absolutely swung the tide of that battle, and we managed to deal with the Head Reaper there, and we stabilized, and we're now in 2nd position, and we guaranteed top 4. That's the first thing you're looking for when playing ranked. Guaranteed top 4 so you get positive points. Round 19 battle, and this one, once again, very similar build that we're facing up against, but ours is just a little bit stronger at this time. Or maybe it's not. I'm misremembering that. So we do end up losing this one, and at this point I'm down to 6 HP, and look at the score: 9 HP, 7 HP, 6 HP, 5 HP. Incredibly close lobby. So it's really going to come down to me being able to 3-star that Kraken. That's why I pick up that Witch Doctor there, and I'm searching for more Krakens and I cannot find them. So let's skip through to the next round, round 21. And what do I have in this shop? Obviously I'm refreshing the shop here. I might have been equipping items. There we go. So the shop refreshing begins. That all happens live. And there is another Kraken. And there is the final piece of my Kraken puzzle, but I cannot afford to buy it. So all of a sudden, I'm in a situation where I could 3-star a Kraken if I had a couple more crystals. Unfortunately, I don't, and I must win this round. Obviously, losing at this point with 6 HP, you're just going to be out of the game, but to 3-star that Kraken and possibly win this lobby, win this match, I need to survive, and this is the one I'm worried about. I don't have Shakaraka, I don't have the magic resist. This is a human sorcerer build. The Lightbringer hit was pretty good there, but putting our Kraken in the middle of the board, that positioning is so key because it affects pretty much everyone on the board when she casts her ability, and just like that, we make it to the final 2. We get that 3-star Kraken. You can see her there in the middle of the board. She's got a Spellbound Staff, a Forbidden Tome, and some armor, so she's pretty tanky, but gets her ability off nice and quickly. And now that she's 3-star, it is 100% chance of stunning, which is super, super critical. And you can see that my opponent here, 3-starring that Kraken gave me a big heads up. He does have 2-star Head Reapers, which is terrifying, but that Kraken ends up being the difference maker as we jump to what is the final battle here. It all comes down to this, and look at that. Kraken covers the entire board, and just like that, we basically hit pause on all of his attacks and take the win fairly comfortably because of that 3-star Kraken in the end. So one more look at the build. It does not use any featured heroes. That's the full level 10 build, and as you can see, we won that lobby without getting Berserker, and without getting King of the Sea. You can of course replace Berserker with Head Reaper if it's more appropriate in the lobby that you're going up against, and you can still just use Hog Rider if you would rather that. Generally not considered to be as strong, but maybe you've got a 3-star Hog Rider early and you just stick with that. So there it is. That is the Punisher Hunter Goblin Warlock Undead Oceanborn build that's pretty versatile and can match up pretty well against most things, and can also do quite favorably against Marsh Lords as well. So let me know what you think of this build in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of my future content. And until next time, I'll see you later.